tried to give it up so that we'd run around and have them chase us. But I mean, it was just, we were all so locked in for that last possession.
Gets it in, but he's knocked away by Lexie Hall with the steal.
Just saw the ball bounce, and it was my opportunity. I was helping off of the corner, and you know, at that point I was like, there's not enough time, like let's try to run the clock out. Kind of drew up a play he thought they'd run, and it was really close to what they ended up running, and especially with such a short amount of time on the clock, like we knew they were going to try to get it into Bree Jones.
The Indiana Fever weren't supposed to be here. 6 different players missed crucial time. Caitlin Clark was on the bench instead of the court. A decade had passed since their last semifinal run. And yet, with 7.4 seconds left and a 1-point lead, Lexie Hull made the play of her life. Was it just a steal, or the moment that changed the future of the Fever forever? Let's break down why this single defensive stop felt like an earthquake for Indiana basketball.
What was that celebration like afterwards and back in the locker room?
God, everyone's just so pumped. And then afterwards, the bench is so hyped, so excited, and just a really happy moment, to be honest. And again, like we worked so hard to put ourselves in that position, especially, you know, a 3-game series, like every game matters, every possession matters.
Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. Costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
What were you saying to each other to just remind each other that the game was still within reach even though you were down?
For us, it was just continuing to do what we needed to do, continuing to follow our schemes, get good shots, especially in playoffs. You're never out of it until the final buzzer.
Imagine a playoff run where your best players are sidelined. Half the roster is swapping minutes with trainers instead of subs, and your team hasn't been a real contender in almost 10 years. That was the reality for the Indiana Fever heading into this matchup. 6 players on the injury list, including the face of the franchise Caitlin Clark, and yet somehow they refused to crack. From the opening tip, it didn't feel like a team playing scared. It felt like a team that had already decided the injuries weren't going to end their story. Most people thought this season was dead before it even got going. The training staff had almost as much work as the coaching staff.
I mean, she doesn't get enough credit for what she's been able to do with our group. I mean, it's not easy to coach a mix of however many players we've had on the court.
This is the first time since 2015 the Fever have made the semifinals, and Steph was the coach of that team. Just what was it meant for you to kind of have Steph here and have her come back?
Again, so many people didn't expect us to be here, but she's leading the charge. We believe in her, she believes in us, and to be able to kind of have this full circle moment, it's awesome.
Clark being sidelined set the tone. Suddenly the offense had to run differently, the spotlight shifted, and the margin for error vanished. With names rotating in and out of the lineup, consistency never had a chance to settle. And still, the Fever kept finding ways to hang around. Every setback looked like it would finally bury them, and every time they answered with effort that stats can't measure. That's what made this particular game so wild. Without Clark and against a playoff-hungry Atlanta crowd nearly 4,000 strong, all the noise screamed collapse. Analysts already counted them out just looking at the injury sheet. But you know what changed it? Kelsey Mitchell put her head down and went right at the Dream's defense like she had nothing to lose. 19 points in the first half alone. She wasn't floating around waiting for chances. She was forcing them. On possessions where the offense looked broken, she just sliced through defenders with quick first steps and pulled up like the basket owed her points. If Mitchell doesn't play that aggressive right away...
Does this mean Caitlin has to wear the black Air Force Ones the rest of the series?
I mean, they're working, and especially for people like Kelsey who put in their time with the Fever, and to be able to get to where we are today and have so many more games ahead of us, I'm just proud. So, yeah, we made a joke. She has to bring them in her bag, wear them every day.
There's no game left to save in the second half. She single-handedly kept the Fever from falling apart when things tilted early. And then there was Aaliyah Boston. 14 points, 12 boards, 6 assists. Those aren't just numbers, they're control. Atlanta should have had the advantage inside, but Boston flipped it. She carved out position like it was routine, grabbed rebounds between 2 taller defenders, and even outsmarted double teams by zipping passes to cutters right under the rim. Instead of getting smothered by Atlanta's interior size, she made them chase her, and that opened the floor for everyone else.
Finally, she said she's had enough. Enough of it. Not doing it any longer. And Aaliyah Boston finally addressed this. They did get a foul. There was 1.2 left, but basically it was over. The ball came in. Lexie steals it. Out to Aaliyah, over to Odyssey Sims.
Every time the Dream thought they could muscle Indiana, Boston erased that plan with a quick spin move or a sharp assist in traffic. What stunned me the most, though, was Odyssey Sims. Remember, she wasn't even on this team when the season started. Mid-season pickup, someone brought in to fill gaps, not carry playoff hope. And yet here she was, dropping 16 points and 8 assists like she belonged the whole time. Sims gave the offense rhythm when Mitchell rested, and she set teammates up with the kind of patient reads you don't expect from someone just joining the roster. She was steady, she was reliable, and in a game where chaos kept bubbling up, that steadiness was everything. Natasha Howard didn't light up the box score, but her willingness to sprint for loose balls and fight for momentum gave Indiana energy you can't measure. Plays where Atlanta should have had easy second chances, she just ripped the ball away or tipped it enough to reset the defense. Pair that with Brianna Turner anchoring the paint, swatting drives, clogging passing lanes, and suddenly the Fever defense didn't look fragile. These small plays, ones most people won't even remember tomorrow, piled up and kept Indiana from falling apart at the seams. Still, none of it guaranteed safety. With seconds left, Indiana had only a 1-point edge. Years of heartbreak could have repeated in an instant. The Dream had the ball, the crowd was buzzing, and you could almost feel the collapse lingering over the Fever bench. And then, of all people, it was Lexie Hull. Cold all night, shots refusing to drop, looking like she couldn't catch a break. She steps in and snatches the ball, ripping away Atlanta's last hope. That steal wasn't pretty. It wasn't scripted, but it ended 10 years of waiting in a single motion. The incredible part is that Hull's steal was bigger than one defensive stop. It wasn't just about the scoreboard. It was proof that Indiana's fight, their stubborn refusal to fold, could actually deliver results. This wasn't a lucky break. This was a signal that the Fever weren't just surviving, they were back. And for the first time in years, everybody else had to take notice. This semifinal spot wasn't luck. It was the Fever proving toughness beats excuses. Every injury, every doubter, it all built up to a team that refused to bend. Head coach Stephanie White even said this was just step one, and she's right. The next step is the Las Vegas Aces, a squad with rings and firepower everywhere. Kelsey Mitchell summed it up perfectly. We all that we've got, and we're all that we have, all that we need. Do you think this run sparks a dynasty, or is Vegas the wall? One steal just put Indiana back in the spotlight.